stuff that I've learned in the industry. You know, I'm going to give you guys some real deal game here. Like the amount of game I'm about to give y'all here is going to surpass most people's what they've ever given out. Just because I know, you know, people are interested slash people need to get educated because, you know, this is going to be a really competitive market. It already is one. It already is extremely competitive. There's people falling off right now. There's people that are just not understanding how competitive, quite frankly, this industry is. And you got to be playing on every single level in a lot of ways. Now, depending on what you're, doing, right? If you're a cannabis content creator, it's a little bit different from, obviously being a cannabis brand. This, like I said, this is going to be more focusing on cannabis brands here. Okay, now that we're 5 minutes into this, we got some more people in the live stream. It's dope. Okay, so let's go over our first topic: PR, public relations, otherwise known as propaganda. Right? Edward Bernays, he was the father of propaganda. Right? And this is, his era was kind of right around World War II. He pulled off a ton of different insane, PR strategies over and he's, like I said, the father of modern PR, right? And he changed propaganda, right? Because if you think about PR is literally what propaganda is. So Edward Bernays realized that propaganda kind of had a bad name, so he changed it to public relations. Now, public relations in general, though, as a brand, you're going to need to have to, I'm not saying you go out and hire a really expensive PR company. They're actually, there's some good ones out there, but they're really expensive. At the end of the day, starting out as a small brand or middle-sized brand, you're gonna have to do a little bit of this on your own, right? Now PR does a number of different things. What does PR do? PR goes out and finds you potentially, different, media placements, right? Earned media, or gets you interviews, or right. There's different ways, a PR agent can, a PR company can act for you, right? They help potentially, with like public, statements that you're making, to the public. They also help with crisis, management, right? So we're going to talk about this in this video, right? PR in terms of how are we going to get earned media, okay? Now, like, for example, let's talk about how did I get, it took me a while to figure it out, right? But how did I get this article in Leafly, right? This is one example. Now it's a little bit different for brands slightly because it's almost harder to get it for. It's harder to get it for as a creator almost, because it's just you have to figure out the story and figure out the right people. I mean, it took me a minute, right? But I literally got this. I got this article in Leafly done about how many days ago? The beginning of last year. Right. Shout out to my boy Nadir Pearson. Right now, Nadir is a contributor to Leafly. Really smart guy. He's got an app coming out called Hybrid. It's gonna be really dope. I'm excited to see how that one turns out. But anyways, me and Nadir, we learned. He saw some of the content I was doing, and he realized the value that I was starting to bring to the industry, right, to building the audience. And he was smart in the sense of he's like, let me go right. I saw him one day. I think I saw him one day. Somebody had posted about him doing an article on them, and I hit him up and I was like, yo, dude, like I would love to potentially get an article done on me, and I'd love to, however I can help you back. It's kind of a trade thing a little bit. It's not, there's a little bit, like I said, getting PR. It's all about relationships, right? So build value in what you're doing and somehow benefit that person that can potentially write that article about you, that feature about you, right? There is pay for play as well, but pay for play, it's going to cost money. It's just kind of phony. at the end of the day, like, you know, you want to create good relationships, and you want to create a storyline, right? You want to pitch, like typically what a PR agent will do is they'll pitch stories to different, you know, media folks. And typically what happens is they're pitching, the stories that they're pitching to these media folks are involving their clients, right? And so pitching them on like, what's the storyline, what's this, blah, 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 you know, that's kind of the key, right? Now, a lot of this is pay for play, unfortunately. Like, let's be real. Like, you could buy. I don't want to say the cover of Forbes, but you could buy something. You know, you can buy a Forbes, you know, article, and you can also earn one too. But there's definitely a blurred line between the two. But this is just one, you know, avenue of overall media, because nowadays this kind of print media, it's really good for SEO. It's really good for legitimizing yourself with a certain subset of, you know, group of people, right? But in terms of like just mass, you know, scale, in terms of getting a lot of name recognition, I don't know how beneficial, you know, this article would be. But what it is beneficial in is that it's starting to develop the storyline, or what I want to convey to the public, right? So it's High Design by LMC, discover YouTube's best cannabis documentaries, right? And so, you know, Nadir tells the whole story, you know, tells kind of an overview of my story, and some of the different examples of the content I've done, right? And it's easier for him to write about it because I have done the stories on people that he's covered in Leafly, right? But really, the when we talk about this baseline, what is the overall pitch, right? It's this YouTuber. He's got, you know, this show called High Design by LMC. It's YouTube's best cannabis documentaries. It's covering the history. It's preserving the history of legendary folks in this, you know, in this industry and culture. And that's the pitch line, right? Now let's get into more of kind of like the more like, you know, and in a lot of ways, right? You need to, let's just be cut and dry, right? PR. I mean, some of the people that are, you know, the least trustworthy. Not to speak bad of PR. PR people are fine, but you know, PR is kind of sneaky. At the end of the day, you want to find cannabis reporters. You want to find people in the media. You want to befriend them. Find strategies to befriend them. Find strategies to offer them some value in their head, so that you can almost do swaps, right? Find someone that sees your value and sees the story, right? Baseline, you know, that's pretty much the baseline. Exactly. One hand washes the other. Now, that's kind of an overview. It gets more, you know, it can get more complicated. I think with some of the marketing, right, you can do some really, you know, there's PR companies out there that have done some really good work where they're like, they'll create insane storylines, you know, like they know how to get news headlines, right? Like I saw one like a couple years ago, like they did like the largest brownie, like weed brownie in the world. And, you know, it got a bunch of headlines. So there's different ways that you can set up your, you know, you can do like a stunt, right, to bring on more name recognition. Now, at the end of the day, that stuff's cool. PR is cool, but I think you want to always establish a solid base and make sure you have all your ducks in a row. Make sure you have your core audience, your core customer base, right? Because that's your bread and butter, and that's how you're going to really build, you know, have a solid foundation. I mean, I know plenty of companies that have tons of these, you know, different, you know, there are different articles here, there, blah, blah. But do they really have like a, you know, core customer base that they've been able to rely on, that's been loyal, right? Brand loyalty? No, some of them definitely don't, right? They just knew how to play the PR game, right? So PR can only, you know, PR is really just an extra, you know, I want to say sprinkles because it can do a lot for your brand potentially, but you need to have your other fundamentals in place because, you know, you're going to get more and more light shine. You're going to get more and more light shining on you, and you